For those who are here, I welcome you to one of the last talks of this afternoon. Um, and this is going to be a talk about how Huawei can help us, the industry, to do our jobs much better and maybe also saving some money along the line. So I would say take it away.
Thank you very much indeed. Hello, everyone. My name's Elliot Ford-Jones. I'm a Brit living in Holland for the last 24 years. I was hoping to do this in Dutch today. No, of course I wasn't. So, introductions. Most people should be familiar with Huawei, what we do. Luckily, I have a couple of colleagues here from a very friendly company similar to Huawei, a beautiful Dutch company called i3DNet here. So these are the two guys here if you want to speak to them afterwards. They're going to be at the evening dinner tonight as well, so we shall be talking more about the concepts of the cloud. Now, what I'm going to go through, probably quicker than expected today, is Huawei Cloud and Huawei Mobile Services. So I've got a lovely little picture here of a PlayStation controller, but what I'm trying to put across to you guys is how Huawei can help to accelerate end-to-end game innovations. Now, even though I've got a picture of a console here, the topic is relating to end-to-end game development for all applications and devices, whether it be PC, whether it be for console, whether it be for mobile, tablets, or even, most importantly these days, in-car entertainment. Huawei recently, as an Asia-Pacific giant, has started a partnership together with a fantastic company called Chery Motors over in Asia Pacific, and we're now creating the electric cars together with those. So you may know Huawei not in the development of cloud, CDN and game development, but more maybe auto manufacturing and retail, or laptops and mobile phones, shall we say. But what I'm here to do is, for the wider audience, explain to people about the different aspects of game innovation, security, acceleration, operations, deployment, and of course where it all begins in development. You may not be familiar with the Petal gaming application. It's very similar to the Steam store. It's basically a way that you can be entertained with games that are available for, as I mentioned before, smart TVs, smart cars, smartphones, PCs, tablets, consoles, etc. It's organization that works with many game developers and publishers across Asia Pacific, and on different slides you'll see that 85% of the biggest gaming developers and publishers in Asia Pacific region are working with Huawei in some way, whether it be for the development process, whether it be for the launch and putting it onto the cloud, whether it be for the maintenance and updates of a game, for instance, with the titles to be delivered to your particular tablet or your car, etc. Services throughout the entire life cycle of games, powering game development, production, and operations. So we can do with pressure tests, we can do with the multimedia. I've seen many different conversations throughout the day talking about audio, talking about graphics, talking about visualization, and different people who are responsible for different steps of the parts of the program. What we're offering is basically the infrastructure, the platform, and the software as a service to deliver those titles to the eyeballs that you want to see and entertain. Huawei Cloud precipitates a game's potential. Now, I've used that word precipitation because it means rain from a cloud. You got it? Cloud precipitation?
Rain.
There you go, rain. Let it rain. So there should be audio on this. Hopefully the guys have grabbed the audio for me. If not, you can see it's got some text underneath. But generally speaking, we focus on the mobile game development market more than any of the other tablets or phones. We offer a game service, and we have a website specific that you will be able to find, not just the Petal gaming service, which is the application store, but we also have a service that allows developers to do game saves, rankings, statistics, and the management of gaming and its ecosystem. You can upload gift packs, various game items. It's very similar to putting it into an application marketplace. And quite simply, it means for gaming developers, you can store your games into a store and have more people obviously buying your game. It's got a tracking feature for the experience of those titles to see how long people play the game, very similar to the AWS Elastic engine. It works on a platform that you can utilize, so you don't have to create one yourself, so you can create tournaments or you can create activities and events to try and get some participation from your audience. It allows you to play on any simple app, and of course, as you can see, the precipitation of the cloud there allows the provision of those services across those apps. It stores data for statistics and it analyzes that data for the behavior. I learned from Code Arts that when they produce their racing games, if someone comes off at Le Mans bend number 3, they can lower the speed of the car to make sure people continue playing the game. So it gives you real-time data to the developer to ensure that not just lowering your cost, you can increase and focus on the innovation to make sure people continue to play your game, or you can get new people to play that game. The way that we do it is a very, very clear setup. Now, for the solutions architects or technical account managers, this is one way in which organizations like Huawei, AWS, Google Cloud, i3DNet, Tencent Cloud, etc., all the hyperscalers could set up a cloud-native environment. But this is obviously just one structure that can be put forward. There are many, many more dependent on what your game title is trying to achieve. Scalability was mentioned as one of the biggest issues for EA in one of the talks that I had before. And I wish I could have put my hand up there to say my slide will show you that with ours, the scalability is paramount to none. We may not be big in Europe, but you can see that I'm obviously not Chinese myself, and we're trying to break into the European market. So for the Dutch guys, you can relate us to the jumbo of the supermarket scale, shall we say. We've got the same product, but we're just better priced, and we make ourselves available in different places to the other bigger guys. We very much focus on the emerging markets and all the new entrants. And at the end of this slide, I'll show you the different customers that we've been working with over in Asia. And I'm hoping that over the next 2 to 3 years to replace those with Europeans and hopefully lots of Dutch developers. Over here, I specifically took out the US because that's really not a focus market for us. Reason being is because there's many of the OEMs over there, as well as the president, of course, God bless his soul, who prefer not to work with organizations like Huawei, who have the step ahead or the capabilities to do what they do a little bit faster, a little bit better, and maybe a little bit cheaper. But we're here nonetheless. And you can see that we've helped many different game titles across the world, and I've only just chosen the mobile gaming companies here. But they're working and they've got themselves in our Coup app gallery, and they have multiple millions or hundreds of thousands of downloads to their game purely because of the accessibility through Huawei, our app marketplaces, and the cloud provision technologies. It's a huge market. It's a $200 billion market revenue just specifically within mobile gaming. That's not console gaming. That's not for cars. It's just mobile gaming alone. So we anticipate there's probably a 600 billion euro revenue to come out of the gaming world across the world. So we don't really need to tap into America because we've got the rest of the world to go forwards with, and we're doing exceptionally well. And hopefully after sessions like this and more people knowing that Huawei has opened up a huge European operation, hopefully we'll be able to get many more European customers. To do so, we're trying to offer them multi-dimensional architecture for computing. We're trying to give them data access. We're trying to give them storage. We're trying to make sure that we give them marketing help and potential access to our developers. Out of 200,000 employees that we have, 100,000 are employed in R&D alone. We have whole site acceleration and global acceleration, which uses our CDN via our cloud network. And that's one of the differences that we have at Huawei over the other hyperscalers. Our CDN is based and works off of our cloud architecture rather than being separated. It's got pricing advantages, development advantages, and many other different advantages. And it means that you can go through a much quicker and easier process to deliver your content to your customers. We're trying to do what Apple does, whereby you shouldn't have to go through 10 clicks to do something that you should be able to do in 2. So for game launches, this is another particular way in which we've helped a particular company, the company being Hero Games. They wanted to have static website file acceleration, better installations, drive acceleration and distribution meant that their ROI increased by 20-30% and their latency decreased by about 40%. Latency is basically how quickly that data gets through to your eyes from the original source. So we've seen about broadcasting here over today. You've seen the guys at EA did the football. We are one of the particular organizations, like many of the other hyperscalers, that allow everyone to watch the FIFA World Cup, whether it be the women's or men's, the NFL, and we make sure that those videos can be captured and available on demand. So we provide cloud, CDN, and a video platform for streaming of online games, media, or any interactive TV. This is how it gets set up in the background, and we may also work with third parties to do so as well. Unlimited defense against heavy traffic is very important, and you'll see at the top right-hand side of each slide, I've noted down as to which particular part of the model that this covers. Now, this is going through gaming security, which is now one of the paramount important aspects of any organization wanting to work with an organization like Huawei. So quite simply, I'm here to deliver to you guys experience that we've worked with other customers and how we work with them to ascertain whether or not there would be the economic viability, the request and the want for European publishers to work together using our infrastructure, platform, and software as a service. Here I've chosen to use a case study from a company called Miniworld, which is a mobile device game as well, that was looking to bring real-life interactive experiences to their customers in the virtual mini world. So from them, they wanted stable cloud services, they wanted the CDN network for content generation, and of course, without having the distribution and operational side, nothing makes sense. At Huawei, we have our own database instead of using S3 as an example from AWS. Ours is called GaussDB. So my presentation, albeit short today, will be to try and show you the similarities and the differences to the sort of players that are already on the field. Google Cloud, Amazon, Microsoft, etc. So to do that, I've put a comparative table here together, and on the left-hand column, going again through the main topics of the models, gaming acceleration, game operations and management, database management, the actual operations of the game itself. And you can see here, just from this simple column, each of us do very similar things, we just call it somewhat differently. It's just got a different brand, a different tag. Some of us, if you look at the example whereby Huawei has none written down, we're not best at. So as there's not many people in the room, I would like to say to you that Huawei Cloud, unfortunately, dedicated game deployment service, we don't offer. But we know that i3DNet does. So if we're looking for a company to do that, we may work with partners. So we're not trying to compete against these guys specifically, but we are in the same field. And we don't want to have any rough tackles, but there will be some. But what we're trying to position ourselves is, we're not here to take over Europe. We just want to eat at the same table. And we just offer you the same product, the same possibilities with better customer service, better support, And a lot of organizations who want to go into China will have the possibility because Huawei is a Chinese registered company. So a lot of the previous companies I've worked for, I've never been able to give a global opportunity to any of my customers. Unfortunately, I don't have the opportunities to deliver services predominantly over in the USA, but we do everywhere else. But we're not interested outside of Europe. This is our ground, and this is where we are trying to get our customers. So to finish, I'd like to show you some similar types of organizations that are in the gaming industry specifically. Some of these titles you might be familiar with, others you may not. But I'm hoping, as I say, within the next 3 years to have the sort of titles that people are aware of. I doubt I'll have EA Games being an American company there, but I'm certainly looking for Guerrilla or other opportunities with big, or even the smaller independent gaming companies across Europe. So for those of you that have joined, I'd like to thank you very much for your time today. I don't think there's going to be many questions. But I'd like to thank you very much. My name's Elliot Ford-Jones. It's been a pleasure. Okay. Oh, he's going to throw you something. There you go.
Here.
Catch.
Can I go first? Thanks, Elliot. We speak to game companies like you do, and they are always interested. Can you also help us move into China? And then, well, we say no because we cannot. So what is your, what would be your conversation with that, I don't know, Dutch game studio that wants to tap into China? How could Huawei Cloud help with that?
The first thing we need to separate is, of course, the regions. Now, if it's a Dutch gaming organization, some of the content must stay here because of different legislations and rules of the data where it's stored. We are working together with Deutsche Telekom in Germany. We're working together with Orange in France. We're working together with Aircom in Ireland. So we're working together with the national incumbent responsible for all telecommunications and growing those telecommunications and then selling those, the data traffic to all of the other competitors, even yourselves. So we will separate everything. What you need here in Europe, we will close off. What you need over in China or in Japan or over in Australasia, for instance, we will close off there and we will have the data supplied just like most organizations are moving towards the edge. We can't offer low latency computing or the best experience of streaming, for instance, if the data is being provided from another continent. So prior to me working for Huawei, I worked for another CDN company, and the biggest investment for that company was to make sure that the data could be provided to their customer in the shortest distance. It cuts down the cost and it cuts down the latency. So Huawei has grown a global network just like many of the other hyperscalers, and we're going to be working together just like you guys, and I congratulate you for your integration of Tencent Cloud within yours, and that's what we're going to be trying to achieve as well ourselves. If you want to work together with us, it's not just the offering of the cloud or billing you for the data usage. It's what else can we do for you. The previous organization I worked for, we spent over 1 million euros on an actor to do a 30-minute online ad, and we did that every year at Christmas time. And I loved having Arnold Schwarzenegger being the face of Wargaming, which was the shareholder of my prior employer. But when I came to Huawei, I found out that they had a very, very new, interesting possibility whereby you as a company or a person can create a live virtual human. We're moving more and more into the virtual world, and that world is moving all the time around. We're talking about, obviously, people moving everywhere. I've lived here in your country for 25 years. We're here to support every different language, no matter where they are in the world. So a lot of the content that we'll provide in Europe will be Chinese people in Europe with the Chinese subtitles to make sure that they can still have their entertainment that they used to. So we're just trying to find out who wants to work with us, why would they like to work with us, and how, and if it works out for both parties, great. Same thing with partners.
Awesome, thanks.
Our time is up.
It is?
Yes, our time is up. So I would like to thank you, everybody, who's attended this talk, and I'd like to thank you for giving the talk.
Pleasure.
And if you have more questions, then feel free to
We'll
hit them
grab
up.
a drink tonight and we'll finish the conversation.
Thank you very much indeed. Appreciate it. Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. Well done.